Right now, noon, the government shutdown enters its fourth week with no signs of a breakthrough. The impact on federal workers and what President Trump is saying about meeting with Democrats. Plus, a long-standing Madison tradition, how the Goodman Community Center is looking to feed thousands of families this Thanksgiving. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Spreiter. We begin with another arrest at the Festival Foods on Madison's east side. Police say a 35-year-old was taken into custody after injuring an officer yesterday afternoon. Officers responded to the store on East Washington Avenue for a disturbance call around 5:15. Staff members reported a man making physical threats towards them. Police found the suspect in the wine section of the store where he became aggressive when approached by officers. Officers deployed a taser, but the man allegedly was able to slam one of them, causing the officer to briefly lose consciousness. More police then arrived on scene and the suspect was arrested. The injured officer is recovering at home after getting treatment. This incident is the second time this week in which police responded to Festival Foods when a customer allegedly made threats about having a handgun and even threw frozen pizzas at employees. Right now, we have new video of a crash that killed one person and injured 4 others. The Wisconsin State Patrol says the SUV involved was traveling south when it entered the median and rolled several times. It happened around 4:30 yesterday afternoon on I-3990 near McFarland. Parts of the highway were temporarily closed during the evening rush. An investigation is ongoing. Happening today, John Patterson officially takes over as Madison's top cop. Patterson is a 27-year veteran of the MPD. He's served in every district and held roles from patrol officer to assistant chief. He holds degrees from UW-Madison and Edgewood College. Patterson believes in police as community caretakers and aims to strengthen trust and collaboration. His swearing-in ceremony is at 4 this afternoon at the Black Business Hub on South Park Street. Road work is wrapping up on several projects in Middleton this month. On Friday, reconstruction is set to be completed on Parmenter Street. Paving, landscaping, and new trees are all in place with final markings and touch-ups left. The High Road project is then expected to wrap up next Wednesday. Meanwhile, construction along Highway 12 in the Wisconsin Dells is ramping up. The project aims to improve road conditions and add lanes to ease traffic. As part of the work, some of the Dells' iconic resort signs have been temporarily moved.
The signs that have come down are just, that's a temporary thing. They're getting moved back. It's going to be 5 lanes. Will handle more traffic flow. And we think that's great, because ultimately it's going to make Wisconsin Dells safer for the visitors and for the residents, and just a better experience for everyone.
Officials say tourism hasn't been affected. The project is expected to continue through 2028. Now, first check of your first warn forecast. Here's meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh. Right now we're seeing plenty of cloud cover, but not really a lot of rainfall. And as we take a look at the current radar, really nothing is showing up, but we still could see at least some sprinkles at times throughout the day. But really the big difference from today and yesterday is the fact that rainfall is not really in the forecast, but everything else will be very similar. The cloudy skies, the cool temperatures, and the winds. We will start to see the clouds become a little bit clearer during the overnight hours, but that will actually allow temperatures to drop even further as we get towards Thursday morning. So taking a look at the current temperatures right now, they're mostly in the middle to upper 40s, and this has been the case throughout the entire morning, and they're not really going to rise much further throughout the rest of the day. So taking a look at the current winds, this is a big reason for why the temperatures are so chilly today. Similar to yesterday, wind speeds are up near 10 to 20 miles per hour and coming out of the northwest, really capping those temperatures in the upper 40s, and that's going to be the case throughout the rest of the day with continuous cloud cover, maybe a few peaks of sunshine here and there, but don't expect to see much. Now, as we take a look at the almanac, I do want to mention that these upper 40s obviously are pretty well below normal by about 10 degrees, but because those cloudy skies kept temperatures in the lower 40s this morning, we actually had a little bit of a warmer morning compared to average, but still very cold nonetheless. Now, we are going to see some colder overnight lows, but some warmer afternoons over the next couple of days. So I'll talk more about that as the skies become clearer. Those details coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, we'll see you then. Thank you. UW-Madison sign language classes are facing cuts and students are pushing back. The university ordered all schools to plan for 5% budget cuts in June. Students say the already full ASL classes could drop from 5 to just 3 sections next year. They're also concerned one of the 2 professors might lose his contract.
That's why we need to preserve the program so that students can learn ASL and connect more with the deaf and hard of hearing students here at UW.
The Associate Dean says the university remains committed to offering 4 ASL classes. Only 1 section will be removed from next year's schedule. ASL was first taught at UW-Madison in fall 2023, making it one of the university's newest language offerings among more than 60 courses. It is day 22 of the government shutdown, and there is no end in sight. A 12th vote on the same GOP funding measure is potentially happening later today. Natalie Brand reports.
With the shutdown entering its 4th week, furloughed federal workers are turning to food banks. That includes Melissa Westbrook, a 22-year employee of the Defense Department.
We don't know when it's going to end, and I need to pay my bills, and we need this to hurry up and, be over with. So it's stressful.
But the 2 sides aren't budging, with Republican senators who lunched in the Rose Garden with President Trump Tuesday saying they will not negotiate health care until Democrats reopen the government.
We will not be extorted on this crazy plot of theirs.
Democratic leaders on Capitol Hill have asked the president for a meeting before his upcoming trip to Asia, but he says not until the shutdown ends.
I'd love to meet with them. I just want them to open up the country first.
The president should meet with us. It's not me, him, or anything political. It's that the people are in crisis.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer warns health care premiums will rise on November 1st unless lawmakers act on the issue this month.
And Trump has an obligation to negotiate with us and solve this problem.
With no sign of when the shutdown will end, Republican lawmakers are trying to move forward with a bill to compensate essential workers and military members working without pay. A vote is expected as soon as Thursday. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
This is now the 2nd longest shutdown in history, behind the 35-day shutdown in 2018-19 during the first Trump administration. It's also the longest full government shutdown because some government departments were funded during that time. Back here at home, Governor Evers says Wisconsin's food share program will run out of funding in just 10 days if the government shutdown continues. The program provides food assistance to nearly 700,000 Wisconsinites. The governor says even if Congress reaches a deal this week, there will likely still be delays getting November benefits to families. The state's DHS secretary is urging people with remaining benefits to stock up on canned goods and boxed items before the end of the month. Food scrap season is wrapping up in Madison, but you still have a chance to help the city meet its goal. The city accepts food scraps from April to October, which are then delivered to a local farm and composted for fertilizer. Then, in a true full circle moment, the crops grown using the compost are put up for sale at next year's South Madison Farmers Market. The final drop-off day at the East and South Side Farmers Markets is next Tuesday. The last day for the West Side Community Market is the Saturday after next. You can find times for each location's drop-off at cityofmadison.com. There you can also find other places nearby that accept food scraps year-round, so you can keep that compost bin going. The Goodman Community Center is kicking off a Madison tradition, helping thousands of local families enjoy a Thanksgiving meal. Over the last 37 years, the Thanksgiving Basket Drive has grown into one of the area's largest holiday food efforts. And this year, organizers say demand is higher than ever. 4,000 families signed up in record time, representing more than 25,000 Dane County residents. That is 10,000 children. Each family will get everything needed for a traditional Thanksgiving dinner thanks to donations of food, money, and time from community partners and volunteers.
I mean, imagine what it would be like if your family was gathering together and you didn't know how you were going to put food on the table. Or that meant that if you were going to do a Thanksgiving dinner, that meant that you were going to have to really tighten your belt somewhere else or even skip a meal. That's not fair. Nobody in our community should be without the food that they need.
News 3 Now is once again a proud sponsor of the drive. If you'd like to donate or learn more about giving a basket, we've posted a link at channel3000.com. Coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, why OpenAI is revealing a new web browser to take on Google Chrome. Plus, how Netflix is looking to capitalize on the success of its K-pop Demon Hunters film.
OpenAI has unveiled Atlas, its new web browser that's poised to take on Google Chrome. The company says the search engine is built with ChatGPT at its core, with settings that allow the browser to remember previous chats and searches. One key feature, Agent Mode, allows the system to click through the internet for users. Atlas already launched for Apple computers, with versions for Microsoft, Apple iPhone, and Google Android coming soon. 9 in 10 Americans say they don't plan on waiting until they turn 70 to collect Social Security, according to a new study by investment firm Schroders. Recipients that delay receiving benefits for 3 years past the full retirement age of 67 can get a 30% bump in monthly payments. Schroders says some people decide not to delay payments if their retirement accounts are not enough to cover expenses, and also over concerns that Social Security funds may not be there if they wait. And Netflix is looking to capitalize on the success of its K-pop Demon Hunters film. The company says it has inked a licensing partnership with Mattel and Hasbro to develop toys, games, and other merchandise based on the breakout movie's characters. Netflix says K-pop Demon Hunters is its most popular film of all time, racking up 325 million views globally in just over 3 months. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow is down 261, NASDAQ down 296, and the S&P 500 down 44. Pam has today's farm numbers up next, and Jacob is tracking the first warn forecast. And later on Live at 4, how the government shutdown is threatening SNAP benefits as food banks brace for increased demand. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Josh. Yeah, you know, it's that time of the year, although the elements are a little bit on the chilly side. Folks are still getting out and enjoying Wisconsin agriculture tourism. We've still got a few apple orchards that might help you out. Of course, pumpkin patches are alive with activity. We've got corn mazes that are also happening. You know, one interesting story we picked up on the Midwest Farm Report from Thomas Monmouth up by Brandon. He's one of the giant pumpkin growers that tries to catch center stage. He said, you may be surprised that they actually start the seedlings for those giant pumpkins probably in April in somebody's basement. They baby each plant, and then when it's finally warm enough in Wisconsin to move them outside, they actually put them under a mini greenhouse, a mini tent, so that they're protected from the early season weather in Wisconsin, and then they baby it right on through. He said today, any of the giant pumpkin growers are shooting for an average weight about 3,000 pounds. A couple came in close to that this year. So like I said, time to enjoy that outdoor activity. I hope you'll enjoy the outdoor activity with me next March, headed to London, Wales, and Lake District. This is definitely filling fast. So if you're interested, you want to find out more details, you can jump online at the website. Just enter my name under the hosted tours, and you should be able to see all the details there, or pick up the phone and give them a call. We're looking forward to an exciting time in London, Wales, and the Lake District coming up spring of 2026. So the markets today in Chicago continuing to see just a little bit of movement on the soybean side of things. John Heinberg, market advisor with Total Farm Marketing out of West Bend, told me yesterday that it is almost eerie how much information the market is grabbing off of things like social media chatter. He said today you have to realize that there's not as many physical people engaged in the trading process as there are algorithms that are driving the trade. And he said basically those algorithms go out and grab headlines wherever they can find it and actually incorporate that into their trades. So again, like I said, some days these numbers may not make a lot of sense to the farmers that are actually involved in growing the product. Well, you're not probably off the base too far, because those algorithms are grabbing information wherever they can find it as the government shutdown continues. Dairy got shut down today. Barrel cheese down 2 at 175.5. 40-pound block cheese down 2.5 at 174. The AA butter 3.5 cents lower at 154.5 per pound. So yeah, you know, it's an information vacuum out there, buddy. Now they're telling me that we may miss the November World Ag Supply Demand Report, because although it says November in the title, most of the information gathered for that report's in October. Nobody in the office to gather it, so we're going to wait and see what happens there.
Oh, uncertain times makes it a little bit more difficult for us, Pam.
Definitely.
All right, thanks for your work today. We appreciate you. Have a good afternoon. Let's get to your certified most accurate forecast now with First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh, as we take a look at the 3 things you need to know, we're going to continue to see some breezy weather for the rest of the day, gusts up to around 30 miles per hour. And in general, cool temperatures are going to be the story this week. And we also aren't going to see much more rain for the rest of the week. We are expecting more rain next week, but from now through the weekend, expect relatively dry conditions. Now, let's start with the wind. Right now, still seeing those gusts up around 25 to 30 miles per hour. It will calm down a little bit during the evening, but still remaining breezy, especially for Madison and areas to the east and north. But then as we get toward the overnight hours, it will calm down a little bit. Still fairly noticeable during the day on Thursday, but not as windy as it is today. Now, as we take a look at the current temperatures, they've been in the 40s pretty much all day, and we're going to remain in the 40s throughout the afternoon and evening. Now, skies will become partly cloudy overnight, and that will allow temperatures to drop into the middle and lower 30s, especially for areas to the west of Madison. Maybe a little bit milder further east, but still very chilly, as there will still be a little bit of cloud cover for areas to the east. And then as we get towards the afternoon tomorrow, we'll see a little bit more sunshine compared to today, and that's going to allow temperatures to reach the lower 50s. Still below normal, but then the clear skies are going to continue Thursday night, and this is when temperatures really drop. We could be seeing lows in the lower 30s to upper 20s, and a lot of southern Wisconsin has not seen a temperature hit freezing yet this season. It looks like Thursday night might be the first for many locations. Now, we have a frost advisory in effect tonight from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. Thursday morning for Madison and areas to the west. Now, areas to the east could still see the frost, but just not quite as likely. Also want to point out in central Wisconsin and northern Wisconsin, you may notice that there aren't any frost advisories because we're kind of in the time of the year where these temperatures aren't too uncommon, especially for northern Wisconsin. And eventually that's going to come for southern Wisconsin to the point where we're going to see consistent temperatures drop below freezing overnight. And obviously they're not going to put a frost advisory out every night. It's still kind of the growing season, which is why the frost advisory is in effect. Now, as we take a look at when we normally see the first freeze of the year here in Madison, we are actually late. The average is October 11th. Now, we've been as late as November 12th, but I do expect to see it Thursday night into Friday morning, which would make the first freeze in Madison officially October 24th, assuming we do get below freezing. And as we take a look at the last 5 years, we're actually later than each of the last 5 years. October 22nd was the latest in that time frame, and October 22nd is today. So definitely going to be late compared to this, and also late compared to average. Now, as we take a look at the rain chances, again, not really going to see much. Pretty dry for the rest of the week. We are going to see more rain chances once we get to next week, but a lot can still change between now and then. And as far as temperatures, in general, they're going to warm up. At least the daytime highs will warm up. Overnight lows will be cool for the rest of the week with middle 30s at best until we get to the weekend, where a little bit more cloud cover will keep the overnight lows in the 40s. But over the next 10 days, the warmest high temperature is only going to be near 60, and the warmest low is going to be in the middle 40s. So definitely fall-like temperatures going forward.
All right, Jacob. Thank you. And we are just 2 days away from handing out coats for kids, so perfect timing there. This will bring our 2025 campaign to a close. On Friday, volunteers will give out nearly 5,000 coats to local families in need this winter. But the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County still needs your volunteer help to help sort, transfer, and distribute the coats this week. This is happening from Friday 4 to 6 in the afternoon at the McKenzie Family Club in Sun Prairie, the Erica and Anthony Fleming Club in Madison, and the Allied Family Center in Fitchburg. You can find more details plus sign up for volunteer shifts through a link on channel3000.com. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
They say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and it also adds a whole new twist to one of our longtime favorites. It's apple season, and that means our markets are brimming with all sorts of varieties. Everything from the basic Macintosh, Granny Smith, and Delicious, those are our go-to apples, to the more gourmet varieties like the Fuji and the Honeycrisp. And since they're at such great prices, I thought we'd make a dressed-up version of one of our favorite coleslaws that takes advantage of apples by making them the star. As for the dressing, all that is some mayo, Dijon mustard, a bit of olive oil, some lemon juice, a splash or two of hot sauce, along with a touch of sugar and salt. This gives our coleslaw a lot of zing. To that, we add a bag of coleslaw mix and a couple of apples that we cored and diced up. Here I'm using Macintosh, but you can use whatever you have on hand or whatever's on sale. To give this some smokiness, sprinkle on some cooked crumbled bacon, give it a toss, and we'll stick it in the fridge. You can even replace the olive oil with a bit of the bacon drippings to give this even more flavor. Let me tell you, between the crunch of the cabbage, the tart flavor of the apples, and the smokiness of the bacon, you can't miss. I do hope you'll go online and get our recipe for apple bacon coleslaw so you can use up all those apples you have on hand in a whole new way. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we're looking for a more seasonal way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Thanks for watching News 3 Now at noon. Coming up next is The Bold and the Beautiful. Our next newscast is live at 4, and you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.